After surviving the upside down, we are finally back. My name is 11 and a half, also known as Chris Burns. With me, as always, Stat Boy Elvis, Jordan Balasico.
What up?
Gentlemen, how's it going tonight?
Doing fantastic.
Now, originally we had a guest scheduled, but I guess he's coming on next week, so it gives Corey and I a little bit of time.
And the cool thing about next week's guest, he's going to be live iRacing while he's talking to us. So he'll be in car racing while he's talking to us.
I thought you were going to say he's going to bring the beer, but, we can't all get what we want, right? But no, that should be cool.
Yeah, I want to hear y'all's SRX experience.
What we're about to tell you. Let's tell you about it right now. First things first, we have to give huge amount of thank you. Well, Corey and Zach got their own tickets, but me and Billy got their courtesy of the wonderful and talented Terry Martin and her husband, Mike, who were gracious enough to sell me the tickets. And first of all, Billy and I picked up Billy at his house. We drive up there. We meet up with Corey and Zach. We get to see the modified race, which our guy Joey Ternullo was featured in.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't have the greatest of starting spots. Let's get that out of the way first. I'm going to go to my little chart here. Joey started 30th in that race. Hello, Terry. Thank you again. Watch this. Hold on. Thank you. You are so awesome. And your grandkids might be okay too, but your daughter needs help. Her daughter knows I love her. Knock it off. But we were sitting in the stands waiting for the race to begin, and my phone rang, and it was Joey. And he says, come on down to the pits. I want you to see the car. Bring the guys. So we got to go down. We got to go see Joey's car. Met Joey's dad. I'm pretty sure I've met Joey's dad before. Met Mom. We walked through. I saw a good friend of mine from way back in the day, Ginny Potter, daughter of the legend Bob Potter. If you don't know who Bob Potter is, local racing legend around these parts. And she was with a young gentleman named Anthony Bello, who we'll talk about him in just a few minutes. 16 years old.
Yeah.
And, not old enough to vote, not old enough to drink, barely old enough to drive. But boy, he went out there and he tore it up pretty good. All these cars look great. They performed well. The eventual winner was Steven Kopsik. So congratulations to the number 21 car. Joey came home in 12th, and Anthony came home in 5th. Now, as Terry's saying, not that she wanted to sell him, health is what got us there. But you know what? Thank you again. Can't say enough good things.
All right.
But that modified race was something to see. And if you've never gone to an SK modified race at Stafford Motor Speedway, I strongly suggest you get your narrow ass up there and see it. But then the main event, obviously, was the SRX race, which, by God, seeing those cars in person versus watching them on television, you don't really get to see the restart power these cars have. Let me throw it to Corey real quick. What did you think upon first sight watching the SRX cars run the track?
I would just say that, watching an SRX race live. All right, let me try that again in English. So I would just say that watching an SRX race live than what it is on TV, it's a whole different experience. But then yet again, the crowd being there and the fact that it was like a sellout crowd, that pretty much amazed me the most. And the racing on Saturday night was also awesome too. And the fact that Ryan Newman put the bumper on Marco Andretti late in the race, pretty much a short track move, but then yet again, it was classic racing. And not to mention, I was happy that Ryan Newman ended up winning the race. And first time he's ever won like anything in a long time. And the fact that, after he won the race, everybody was cheering for him and everybody cheered for him in victory lane, which was pretty cool. But just being there in person was pretty awesome. And I'm hoping next year SRX can return to Stafford in 2023.
Would be fantastic. And a couple things I took away from it, not only the restart power, but the cars are all built stock. So, and they have the 2 heat races, everything that's jumbled up. Then you just go out there and it's your skill and your ability. 2 things I took away from this. You got Haley Deegan, who came home in 6th.
Yeah.
Really good run for her. Paul Tracy didn't kill anybody and came home in 3rd. And on top of that, even on television, I've always said that the 12-car field doesn't seem like it's big enough. But then you go to a track like Stafford Motor Speedway, and you see the cars live and in person. It is perfect. That if they were to even expand it by like 3 cars, it would be good. A 15 to 18 car field would be phenomenal. But for right now, they're doing the right thing with those 12 cars.
Right. And I would pretty much say, taken away from my standpoint, I thought the SRX race was fun. And not just, seeing all the superstars that were racing there that night, like Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte and Paul Tracy and everybody else. But what I actually learned about this SRX series is not only you have the superstars that come out and race, but you also have one of the local guys that'll come in and race as well. You'll have that one local guy that'll come in, that'll race the superstars. I mean, look at what happened last year at the very first one at Stafford. Doug Coby ends up beating, superstars, and then he ends up running the truck race at Bristol. I think like a couple months later. Then you look at Ernie Francis Jr. He runs pretty well, most of last year, and now he has an Indy Lights ride, in the Indy Lights series and so forth. And now that you have Matt Hirschman, who ran Saturday night, I thought he did okay. I mean, I wouldn't say he had the best run, but I would say he was pretty consistent all night. And honestly, I would just pretty much say that, and aside from that, like last year when they announced that they were going to run the series, I pretty much said they were all in if they weren't going to do this like all NASCARs. But with all that, I'm pretty much just hooked on it. And not only that, it was also a really good, fun race to watch too. So,
okay. One of the things that you mentioned, Matt Hirschman, started 10th, finished 8th. That first heat race, he did really well. Him and Deegan really tore up that track, and then they invert the field. They both come up to the middle. It seemed in the main event, Haley went forward, Hirschman went backward, and that's not a diss on Matt Hirschman. That's just the way these cars are set up. And when you look at the guys that were ahead of him and girl, Ryan Newman, Marco Andretti, Paul Tracy, Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Haley Deegan, Ryan Hunter-Ray. These are people that do this or have done this on some of the highest levels in the world. It's not a bad place to be, 8th place when the night's over.
right.
Okay, and now Justin wants to throw something in, or Jordan, sorry. I don't know why I said Justin.
Justin.
Justin Credible.
That's messed up. So, you said something about Ernie Francis Jr., right?
Yeah.
Well, if you would just pay attention within the next 15 seconds.
Countdown's on.
All right, give me a minute. But I did watch the highlights from that race, and that was a good race.
I watched the race that I DVR'd on yesterday, and honestly, like I tried. This was funny because I tried finding us in the seats, and guess who I ended up finding as the television came on? It was not other than Walnuts.
No kidding.
So like, if you watch like at the beginning, like right when they come on, like right when CBS comes on, there's Joey right there. You hardly can't even miss him.
Now, one of our viewers said that he saw me on television, which I find hard to believe, but the word came down to Jordan that Caleb Hodge said, I think I saw Chris on television. Nobody else did, but Caleb, if it was me, I'd love to see a screenshot if you got one.
Yeah, somebody send me a screenshot if you saw me on TV.
Nobody saw you on TV.
I'm pretty sure they did.
So,
You were only 4 inches from me. I could see how that could work out.
Yeah, something like that.
so if you see at the bottom of the screen, coming soon to World of Auto Racing Podcast.
Oh wow,
Ernie Francis Jr. Yep, I reached out. All I gotta do is just give his PR a call, and he's coming on the World of Auto Racing Podcast.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
Good stuff.
But go ahead, please.
Speaking of which, for the first time ever, I will have a mother and 2 sons that race together on World of Auto Racing Podcast at the end of the month as part of Summer of Dirt series.
Bob Backlund and Bob Backlund Jr.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
That works too. We need to get him on Nothing But Talk, but that's a different story.
There is no. All right, I'm working on it. But there is no Bob Backlund Jr. He has but one daughter. and she is very, very happy and healthy down there somewhere in the Florida area.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jordan ran to get beaten again. So if you had to rate your experience at first time ever for you at Stafford Motor Speedway, not only the modified, not only finally getting to meet Joey live and in living color, seeing the SK mods, seeing the SRX, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was your experience with the Superstar Racing experience?
Oh, honestly, for sure, I give it a 10.
I'd agree with that. The facility is fantastic. Strange little note that I think Corey heard the story of. Between the races, between the second heat race, that half hour. It doesn't feel like that on television, guys, but when you're in the stands, it feels like 17 days.
Right.
The half hour between the second heat and the main event, Chris has to go to the bathroom. So he goes down and he has a double hooked lager, which is the official beer of Stafford Motor Speedway, in his hands, sipping on it. Guy next to me says, "Hey, it's good beer." Turns out to be the owner of the damn brewery.
Oh, wow.
So I got Billy heard this story. I don't know how you didn't hear it. So I walked up with him to their tent, and I got to meet some of the fine folks at Double Hooked, and got a T-shirt out of the deal. I'm not wearing it now, but I should. But I do have the koozie that he gave me. So,
ooh, okay.
So if you're ever in Stafford Motor Speedway, get Double Hooked IPA. Chris, if Cletus
start oh, yes.
No, I'm going to agree with Terry because we have this door down here in the studio area. Yeah, see, Double Hook Bar right
Walnuts.
there. Joey Ternulo's in the house.
Yeah, buddy.
Just talking about him. Thank you. Thank you to the folks at Double Hooked for my swag. So good. And thank you to Joey and his whole team, and Anthony Bello and all your fine folks that we got to meet. And overall, I'm going to give that whole experience a 10. The facility looks better today than it did 7 or 8 years. Oh, my God, it's been longer than that. 15 years ago when I was last there. I had to think about that. It was the year before my daughter was born. My daughter's 14. Do the math, idiot. And I'm not stat boy, so I can't do this on the fly. But SRX was fantastic. If it comes around your area, Jordan, run to see it. If it comes back to this area, Terry, we're in big.
Chris, there'll actually be at Sharon Speedway at the end of the season. That's probably about 3 hours from me. Yeah, no. But no, if Columbus Motor Studio was still around, I would have loved for SRX to be the main event there. But unfortunately, the track closed down.
I'm curious. I'm curious with SRX being, kind of an offshoot, modification of all these different styles of race cars together. What stops them from going to a road course like Mid-Ohio? What stops them from going to Eldora? What stops them from going to some of these other tracks?
But see, the only thing is that like most of the races,
they only want to do short track racing. Honestly, short track racing is pretty awesome.
No, I don't disagree with that, but with the amalgamations of the way the cars are built, it's kind of it's not really an Indy car, but it's a sport car and a NASCAR, and it's, the Winged Outlaw. It's all sorts of things wrapped into one big, boxy, beautiful package. Why couldn't they go to a dirt track? Why couldn't they go to a road course, albeit a smaller one? Don't go to Road America that's 4 miles long. Go someplace like Lime Rock.
Now, if they wanted to go to like a small road course, they could go to Mid-Ohio, because Mid-Ohio is not that big. It's only maybe like an 8-turn course. It's not that big.
Okay.
All right. So, see, the way I kind of look at it is that most of the SRX races, they're usually on like the short tracks, and they're always on like Saturday nights. And because, it's because, CBS, and B, they want to have a national live audience, to watch the race and so forth. Kind of like how we saw, at South Boston, and how we saw with Pensacola. I mean, heck, last year, SRX ran 2 dirt races, at Knoxville and Eldora, which I thought they were pretty good. And then, of course, I think they're running Sharon Speedway, which is a dirt track, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, asphalt.
No? Okay, it's asphalt. Okay, so I thought there was one dirt race on the schedule that they're going to, but I think if you kind of look at it,
Feather
I
Light,
think the
Ken
way,
Trader's race, Ken Trader's track,
yeah,
Ken
but
Trader's track, Feather Light.
right. But see, I think if you kind of look at it, I think, the way that SRX is pretty much doing it is that they're only going to go to racetracks that are either short tracks that have lights and pretty much, that work well for everybody. I mean, I like to see them race on a road course. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the only road course that I would probably say they could run at night would have to be the Daytona road course, but that's the only problem is that how would they
Trash. That's not
fare
gonna
on
work.
running? How would they fare? Running on a long road course, especially at Daytona, which I would probably say wouldn't be the best idea and so forth. But
Nope.
how I kind of see SRX going into 2023. I'm hoping they kind of do the same thing, but now I'm really hoping that they can get a lot more drivers that come in. Sure, I wouldn't mind if you see any active drivers that come in, but why not bring some of the retired guys, that come in as well, that actually want to say, you know what, I want to try this out and see how this fares. I mean, quite honestly, there's a lot of drivers that I can pretty much fare that I want to say, like, that could have a good SRX ride and whatever. But hopefully they'll do the same thing in 2023, but hopefully better. So
Okay, Jordan, your point.
your turn, Jordan.
I feel like this. If next year they want to, why don't they say for 2023 shoot for a road course? I don't know, maybe. New Hampshire's a road course. Try open that back up again.
I wasn't aware New Hampshire had a road course.
They used to. Outside
They
of
did.
the backstretch.
Yes, they did. Way back. I don't think it's there anymore. We'll find out in 2 weeks when Corey and I are up there.
There's going to be a road course race? I'm kidding.
Honestly, I say, why don't they just do this? Take SRX to Rockingham, to North Wilkesboro. Space it out. Get bigger tracks.
You just opened up a brand new door because Bristol Saturday night would be a fantastic SRX race.
Yeah.
Or even, utilizing some of those tracks like Richmond. Under a mile, high bank. Let's get it done. We've seen them on these flat tracks. And right now, with the 12-car run, I don't think you could do much more than 3/4 of a mile. If they expand that group from 12 to 15 or even to 18, let's not go crazy and make it a 36-car field.
No.
But if you can keep it high teens, early 20s, that opens up for all sorts of excitement.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to be just like IROC, go to tracks like Michigan, Richmond, Indianapolis, Daytona, Talladega, those tracks. Make it interesting.
Right.
Absolutely. Bill Bingham chimes in with more drivers.
Bill, yeah.
And he brought that up Saturday night. Thank you, Billy. By the way, your mother-in-law owes me money, and I'm really not happy with her right now. She stiffed me on a card game, and it's anyway. Having said that, yeah, that was a great idea by Billy. Unfortunately for Bill's idea, SRX starts at the end of June. NBC's coverage starts right around the same time.
Yeah.
So there'd be, unless Junior got out of his NBC contract, we're not going to see too much of Junior out there. See, Billy knows.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Junior, rumor has it that Bernard Jr. is planning on entering the 2500 in a JRN number 88.
I had heard the same thing. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, why not?
Jordan, are you having Wi-Fi issues?
It sounds like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I actually want to point this out. It was actually rumored that SRX was going to race at not Rockingham. They were going to race at North Wilkesboro this year, but it's more likely going to probably be next year, maybe.
That wouldn't be too bad.
Because I know that they're going to be doing the grassroots racing, I think, next month. And then they're going to convert it into dirt in like October. And then after that, they're going to repave it, I think, like next year or something. So I probably say it's more likely you might get the SRX series to go to North Wilkesboro next year.
Right.
Hey, if they go to Wilkesboro next year, I'd be happy. I mean, honestly, I'd be ecstatic too.
Oh no, North Wilkesboro would be great because again,
Be
it's
awesome.
it's under a mile. It's
Right.
a classic track that people love,
Mm-hmm.
and on top of that, it's a
Hey,
track.
Chris,
that-
31. Are you
Well,
part of the Dark Order now?
No, that's the game I lost to Bill's mother-in-law when she cheated me.
Damn. But no, yeah. Why am I cutting in and out or something? Is that why you asked?
You were. Now you're sounding a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, okay, Jordan, you watched this on television. We were in the stands. What did you see for the SRX? And I know we got about a half hour, 40 minutes left. We got to talk about two different divisions and the fantasy points. What did you think of the SRX overall this week from Stafford?
Honestly, Ryan Newman raced his ass off. I tell you what, I love short track racing. I
Yeah.
love Saturday night short track racing. I want to give props to Tony Stewart because, dude, you know how to create a series, and props to Ray Everham as well.
Of course.
So it was a fantastic. But I would like to see guys like Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Kimi Räikkönen. I would like to see some of the F1 guys try SRX.
That'd be
The
awesome.
race, I give it a 10 out of 10. Not just because Ryan Newman won, but because that was a hell of a race. I love watching
it
races
was.
at Stafford. Stafford race
You know,
was
him-
pretty awesome.
Him making that pass late in the race and then holding on to that lead. And it was, for the most part, a clean race. Corey, would you agree?
Oh, I definitely agree.
I mean, the first thing we said when we all got together in the parking lot was, how many times is Paul Tracy going to try to kill somebody? And it turns out tonight he didn't. It's the one thing we missed.
Right.
Yeah, you know him and Deegan don't get along.
Yeah,
I heard
I
that.
know that. Yeah.
I hate Paul Tracy.
But-
he
but
still thinks he
regard-
won. No, Paul Tracy still thinks he won the 2001 Indy 500. He didn't.
No.
Get over it.
Time out. That was 2002. 2002 was he should
Either
have won
way.
the 500.
Either way, he
Yeah.
lost. Get over it.
Yeah, I actually kind of watched that and I thought, well, he did pass him like right when the yellow came out, but then yet again, it is kind of a borderline call, like what IndyCar had to say on that one. And yeah, I honestly agree. I said, you know what?
I don't get
The
it.
rule,
What's so
the
funny?
rule, the rule is the rule. So
You
yeah.
gotta bring that back up. We forgot to give a shout out to our main man. Thank you, Dominic.
Hey, yeah, Dom.
So
Hope you're
Dominic was in the row ahead of us.
Yeah.
Part of his posse held the seats for us when we had to go and do whatever it is we're doing, peeing, getting food, what have you. And we just started to talk to Dominic about this show because I'm always glad-handing and trying to talk to people about the different shows that I do. And I say, it was all right. So what's your name? Dominic. All right. Thank you. I don't know what happened, but it was like, thank you, Dominic. And that just became a catchphrase. Bill and I actually said that to each other Sunday at the picnic. So
Oh,
thank you.
nice.
So that
You're out there,
explains why.
Dom.
That explains why I was confused in the Speedway Review Messenger spot. Thank you, Dominic. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
We should have explained him a few days ago.
Had
We
to
should.
tell him today because
I was
if not,
so-
he's thinking to himself, why are they talking about Dominic Mysterio? That's what he's thinking.
I am not. Oh, that reminds me.
Oh my Lord. See what I just did? I opened the door to
Well,
some
you open that.
goofy-ass shit.
Well, you open that door up big time.
Anyway, I know Bill had a great time. I had a great time. How did Zach feel about the race?
Zach had a really good time, and I know he said he wanted Haley Deegan to win, and I wanted her to win too. I mean, I wanted her or Tony to win, but I was happy that Ryan Newman won, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let me introduce to you the Tint Champion. I don't want to say what the other belt says out loud.
Hose.
It says
Nice.
hose. So we got Tint and Hose. That's a great name for a car detailing spot
Yeah.
and a strip joint. Tints and Hose.
Or pimps
So-
and hose. How about that?
Tints and Hose. No, not pimps. That's different. Tints and Hose.
Or boats and hose.
Or both and hose,
Shut
whatever
up,
you.
Corey.
Hey, come on! I had to get that one in there.
All right, let's go
Yeah.
down the finishing order, and then we're going to get to the Xfinity race because, guys, I watched that shit back, and I got a lot of questions. So here we go.
Yeah.
Ryan Newman comes home in first, Marco Andretti second, Paul Tracy third, Tony Stewart fourth, Bobby Labonte fifth, Haley Deegan sixth, Ryan Hunter Ray was seventh, Matt Hirschman was eighth, Justin Marks was ninth, Greg Biffle 10th, Bill Elliott 11th, and all the way down in the Michael Waltrip position was Michael Waltrip.
Yeah.
So, again,
That doesn't
really good
surprise me.
Well, I mean, after last week where I think he got the front end of his car torn off, at least he came home with a car that was intact. So I'm going to give him. Hey, Cody Rhodes, you want to put that down and let's do the show? Or, you want to keep showing the Tint Championship off to everybody?
I'm gonna keep Showboat night.
Oh, listen to you.
Hey,
All right, so
no, Chris, hold on.
Go ahead, please.
So the next belt that I'll have is the Stone Cold Smoking Skull belt.
Well, you're going to have to fight Billy for it because he's already got one and he's ready to challenge you.
Yeah, well, this one's a little bit different. This one's actually authentic, real.
Wow.
You haven't seen Billy's. He's got a pretty nice rig going on with that Smoking Skull belt. I've seen it, touched it, held it. This thing's pretty badass.
Nice. All right, I'm going to go put this away. I just thought I'd show off real quick.
Well, thank you for showing the Tint Championship, and I'll bring my car to you next week so you can do the windows. There it is. The Tint Championship.
Yeah.
I still don't know what tint means, but
I don't know what it is either, but oh well.
I don't watch the Mud Show. I watch the good stuff. Anyway, so when Jordan comes back, I got a lot of questions. I sped through a lot of this race. Thank you again to Terry and Mike for DVRing this for me while we were in Stafford, or on our way to Stafford, as it were. Got a lot of questions regarding this race, and the big one goes out to one of your guys, Noah Gragson. So I'll ask you, and I'll ask him when he's done getting whooped. Was that intentional, Noah Gragson spinning Sage Karam, or was that incidental?
See, when I kind of look at this and I kind of look back, and these guys were basically just racing the hell out of each other for about a lap. So if you saw in one of the replays, like when they were going down in that turn 1 area, you see Noah's hand coming out the window saying, like, dude, like, what are you doing? And then there was another part where Sage, pushes him off the racetrack a little bit. Then you see the dirt flying. And then that's when Noah kind of said, all right, so if you're going to race me like that, I'm going to race you like this. And then you saw the hard right that Noah did, spins him out, fails at fishtailing, but then next thing you know, he spins and then causes a 13-car crash to the point where dirt's flying, smoke's flying everywhere, everybody can't see, and you're pretty much on the long straightaway where everybody's going at like maybe 150, somewhere around there. And then you had the one part where Brandon Brown got the wind knocked out of him, and I guess he got knocked in the area where he shouldn't have got knocked in, and so forth. But I'm just going to say this. If I was Noah Gragson, if I wanted to take out Sage Karam, I would have dumped him in the corner. But the only question is that why would you dump him on the straightaway underneath the Sargento Bridge where that one part on the racetrack where you can't even see anything and you're going like about $150 going down that straightaway. And quite honestly, like as much as I like Noah Gragson and as much as I like, his driving and his aggressiveness and so forth, I was actually disappointed he did that. And I got to be honest, like, I wasn't happy that he did that because come on, like you caused a 13-car crash to the point where like everybody has damage and all the drivers and the owners are all pissed off at you, because you basically just caused it anyway and so forth. So,
all right. So 2 questions, and one I was going to ask, but Terry brings it up in the comments. 1, why dump him at all?
Right.
Continue racing hard. 2, the post race, he comes up and he says, well, if I was going to dump him, I'd dump him in the turn, much like you just said.
Right.
But again, part of me, we're looking at a guy, and I'm really having a hard time saying nice things about Noah Gragson because it turns out every time we turn around, we're talking about Noah Gragson turning somebody, and it's getting ridiculous. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm
Right.
saying that, we've watched guys like Earnhardt and Stewart and Harvick and Wallace and Waltrip, and I could go through the names over and over again, a list as long as my arm, that have run like that. But this many in one season, something's got to be done. And I don't know when he's going to get his comeuppance, but I have a feeling that Noah Gregson's comeuppance is coming at some point in time.
Well, speaking of which, I guess today NASCAR announced that they actually docked him 30 points in the driver's standings, 30 owner points, and they fined him $35,000 in violation of Section 4.4 and E. So that's pretty much NASCAR member and conduct of code, whatever it is, and so forth. So, I will say this: 30 points is basically just I don't know. Maybe a slap on the wrist, maybe.
Let's go to the standings and find out. As far as the playoff picture is concerned, 30 points, he would have been in second.
Yeah.
Right now he's in third. So dropping the bucket, really. I mean, 30 points, big fucking big
Get down,
deal.
stop trying to climb out.
Yeah.
And if
I'm gonna call Cletus, he's gonna whoop you.
Yeah. Boy. Oh, there he is. There he is, my man. Oh, come on, man. We were looking forward to that.
Ain't my
and
kids.
By the way, you know what?
You better be at New Hampshire.
Listen
I
to
have
you. Listen to you.
comment.
I love it. Come
Go
on.
ahead. Jordan.
Anyways.
Jordan.
I have a comment regarding Noah Gragson. I don't know why everybody's so hating on him. He dumped him because he's trying to race for a position. Harry Hodge once said, he didn't nudge you, he didn't bump you, he rubbed you. And rubbing son is racing. I'm going to continue to say that. So anybody who says Noah's in the wrong, why don't you look what happened at South Boston Speedway? Every single late model crashed all at once.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I just got through saying that I ran down the list of guys throughout history, at least Cup Series history, who have been notorious for the nudge and the bump and the run, and whether the name is Wallace, Earnhardt, Elliott, Stewart, either Elliott. Hate me for that one. A list of guys that made a career, like St. Dale, who made a career out of this. And, everybody canonizes them. And right now, what I'm looking at with Noah Gragson is this is over a career. Noah's done this like 6 times this year. 6. Yeah. At some point, he's going to either get a bumper shove and a wrecked car or a fist to the mouth. Hopefully, he's man enough to take his helmet off, unlike Ty Gibbs, that triangle-faced jackass.
Well, you do remember last year when Noah Gragson and Daniel Hemrick, they fought after Atlanta, which, failed 2 swings, whatever it is, and so forth. But speaking of...
He's a better driver than he is a fighter.
Yeah. But speaking of Dale, I guess Dale Jr. talked about the whole incident with Noah Gragson on Saturday. So this is what he said.
Not
quote,
too happy.
So he says this in quote, "I was disappointed and absolutely plan to discuss with Noah and I this week." Now, he says this, which was perfect. He says, basically my message to Noah is that he needs to take that out of his toolbox, and he cannot intentionally turn guys on the straightaway. I think that's a solid quote by him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, wait a minute.
What's up?
Where's Tori?
Yeah,
he said he'd be on. He said he'd be on in a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to be on in a little bit. So let's just say Tori's being Tori.
Okay.
So
no, Tori is taking care of business, is what Tori's doing.
Yeah,
let's leave it at that.
Hey, I kid you not, Corey and Chris. Last night, before I went live, I said, "Okay, I have no co-host. Okay, I got this. There's 3 of us." I just went out there and I just floored it. Went all out. The 3 of us. I had the youngest guest ever on the show last night. She was 16 years old. So that's the youngest guest I've had so far.
Oh, wow.
That's illegal in some states.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
And the one, Robert Carson, he's raced against guys like Kyle Larson, Ryan Newman, Rico Abreu. He's raced the Chili Bowl Nationals. And Chastity Younger, she raced the Tulsa shootout at 11 years old.
Good deal.
So
you doing good?
Hey,
yeah. What?
These nuts.
But anyways, the finish of the Xfinity race on Saturday I thought was pretty good. And, Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson, those guys were just battling the hell out of each other, like right at the end. And it wasn't until like on the last lap when Larson missed the corner, there you saw Gibbs pass him on the outside, preferred inside, whatever you call it, and then scooted off like it was no tomorrow. And aside the fact that Gibbs now has 4 wins this season, he pretty much had a statement win. And I say that's a statement win because he basically said, okay, Junior Motorsports, colleague, you guys who you are, but I'm here too.
Okay, so when you want to look at that, and I'll say absolutely statement win. He's got 4 wins, but he's only, I got to do my math now, 6 points ahead of AJ Allmendinger in second in the playoff points. Yeah. So when this all breaks down at the end of the regular season, you're looking at 2 different guys, and then you go 10 points back after the 30-point penalty to Noah Gragson. You have a 3-horse race. Allgaier is tied. Now you have a 4-horse race. Josh Berry in 5th is only 13 points back. So 1 through 5 is going to be real interesting.
Yeah.
It's everybody 6 through 12 that is going to be, kind of a little edgy, but but then on the other hand, I would just basically focus on the top 5 right now because I think that's pretty much your list of drivers that you just have to watch out for this year. All right, so now that we got the clock, let's go through the finish, the notables, and then we'll go to Cup and Fantasy, which I thought was a great week. So Ty Gibbs comes home in first, Kyle Larson second, Josh Berry third, Austin Hill fourth, and Brandon Effin Jones was fifth. AJ Allmendinger 6th, Riley Herb 7th, Noah Gragson 8th, Jeremy Clements 9th, and Ryan Sieg was 10th. Your other notables, Justin Allgaier was 12th. Josh Williams, our boy, came home in 17th. John Hunter Nemechek was 18th. Hi guys, I'm testing my. Good luck, Jackson.
Good luck, Jackson.
Yep, and we'll bring you on to the Speedway review.
Yeah,
I've never heard of her. All right, moving on. Jesse Awuji, 27th. Anthony Alfredo was 23rd. Cole Custer, 25th. Sheldon Creed, oh, God, this guy can't catch a break. 27th. Daniel Hemrick, 28th. Tyler Reddick, 29th. The aforementioned Sage Karam, 31st. Brandon Brown, 34th. And all the way down in the BJ McLeod position, who I thought was dead, but his movies live on, Will Rogers. So quickly, each of you, starting with Jordan, give me a happy and a sad.
Well, my sad is actually the same person, and happy is the same person. My happy is Ty Gibbs beat Kyle Larson. My sad is Ty Gibbs won the race.
Mr. Madison, what you just said may be the most insanely idiotic thing I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response was there anything close to a rational thought. Everyone on this show is now dumber for having heard it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That's great.
Jackson Scott's is here.
Jackson,
hey. Somebody's going to kill you.
What's going on?
What'd you say?
Somebody's behind you. They're going to kill you.
Yeah, it's
we love you, kid.
Don't play with me, boy. Anyway, Corey, before we go to Jackson, give me your happy and sad.
Okay, so for me, my happy, I am going to go with Josh Berry, and my sad, I'm going to go with Sammy Smith.
Okay. My happy is going to go to BFJ, my man Brandon Effin Jones.
Yeah.
Coming home in 5th. And, this one's going to be tough, but if I have to make you know what? I'm just going to go with Sheldon Creed. The boy can't catch a break.
Yeah.
And Jackson, you don't get to choose. Because you're late to the party. I'm sorry. This is what happens. But anyway, let's go into Sunday with the timer clicking. We have 15 minutes left to go. Wow. Good to see the 8 and 2. Oh, thank you for saying that, Billy, because my fantasy team had quite the week this week. Tyler Reddick with the late race pass holds off Chase Elliott, the king of the road course, and comes home with the victory. Here is, what are you laughing at?
No. I think you know what I'm laughing at, but keep going.
What are you laughing at?
Chase Elliott finishing in second, and a certain somebody was probably not too happy.
Stop it. Cletus is not coming because Terry's going to start charging money, and I ain't having it.
Oh, come on. I love it.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyways,
the
15
late race
minutes.
pass, really clean. First things first. I really thought as the laps were closing, Chase was actually picking up time on Reddick as the leader.
Yeah.
But really didn't get there. But look, I was happy. I was cheering for Reddick. I was standing up, beating my fist on the table at Mark's house, cheering my face off. And for what it's worth, excuse me, like I can speak English. For what it's worth, watching Reddick finally break that glass ceiling was fantastic to me.
And honestly, there's been times where like this year, Reddick, has been coming close to winning a race. I mean, heck, he almost won the dirt race, had he not got spun by Chase Briscoe. But, those guys shook hands, they made up and everything else and so forth. But the best part about this race on Sunday was that we have another new winner, which now stands at 13. So now we only have like about 3 more to get to 16. And quite honestly, we're going to get to 16 before you know it. And I'm going to throw you guys a little Powerball question or a little curveball question. Could we see a guy, now let's say we get to 16, right? Could we see a guy that has a win get bumped out of the playoffs?
Well, obviously, if they get to 16.
I mean, I would say it's probably going to happen, but hey, who knows? We don't know how many more repeats we're going to get, and we don't know how many more different winners we're going to get, but I say we're going to get to 16 before Daytona.
Corey, can you bring everything in your desk to my office? Because you're fired.
Sure, I'll have to drive 2 hours to Connecticut to do that if you want me to do that right now.
I'll pick it up in a week and a half.
Are you gonna pay me for this?
Yeah, your severance package will be the same thing I gave the redheaded idiot.
You better give me gas money.
You're a lot closer than I am. Don't play that game. Jackson, what'd you think? Jordan's back.
Yeah, thank God.
All right, well, if Jackson's here, we might as well ask him. Jackson, what did you think of Tyler Reddick's first win?
See, I'm a Tyler Reddick fan myself, so
I forgot about that.
And Jeffrey Leonard.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it was a great race. Honestly, Reddick, had a great car at the end. He had a long run car, so I think I'm gonna be honest. That last pit stop, Reddick was very close to Elliott on exit of the pit road, so I think that also kind of helped him. But Reddick definitely put the pressure on Elliott. It was a clean pass. I didn't see anything wrong with it. But both drivers did a great job battling. I think that's what we're here for. Great racing, and congratulations to Tyler Reddick.
Can't agree more. Jordan, what do you got?
It was long overdue. I'm so glad he finally got that first win.
yeah.
I'll agree with you. How many more times could he finish second this year? Like that
You know who he reminds me of? Casey Kane. Always was runner up till the following year later. He finally got that first win.
Yep. 2004 when he finished runner up in a bunch of races, and then the next year he ends up winning the race. So you get that feeling.
I'm sorry, I'm flicking boogers. My bad. Anytime anybody mentions Casey Kane, I get a little bit verklempt. It's my ex-wife's favorite race car driver. Leave me alone.
Hey, Chris, I might be able to have him and Brad Sweet on World of Auto Racing at some point this year.
Ooh, okay. All right.
I'll be sure to tune in. All right. So without Tori, we're just going to go into the finishing order and then the fantasy points. Tyler Reddick, obviously, is your winner. Chase Elliott, second. Kyle Larson was third. Ross Chastain was fourth. Okay, it's timeout. Give me Bill's comment. I think Austin Dillon is a little jealous. I would be, too, if I had a shitty reality show.
Yeah.
Hate that show. Oh, and Bill's wife is a huge Austin Dillon fan. I made the mistake of saying, I watched Austin Dillon's show, and it makes me hate him a little bit more, and she almost killed me right there.
Oh, my.
Well, you
It's a shitty show.
It is a shitty show. Thank you, Jackson. See,
Chris,
Jackson gets it. Why doesn't everybody else get it?
Chris, I'm sending you something.
Okay, you're sending me something. Tyler Reddick came home in first. Chase Elliott was second. Kyle Larson third. Ross Chastain fourth. And Daniel Suarez, my amigo, was in fifth. Chris Buescher was sixth. Austin Cindric seventh. Michael McDowell eighth. Okay, that's starting to bother me. He's finishing top 10 a lot this season. AJ Allmendinger ninth. And Kevin Harvick rounded out your top 10. Your other notables were Alex Bowman in 12th, Martin Truex Jr. in 13th, William Byron 16th, Denny Hamlin 17th, Recky Spinhouse Jr. in 19th. Joey Hand, who had a really good run early, unfortunately finished in 21st. Kurt Busch 23rd. Joey Logano 27th. Kyle Busch 29th. Oh, my Lord. What are we talking about here? Cody Ware.
Where?
32nd. Brad Keselowski, 33rd, Corey LaJoy, 34th, and all the way down in the BJ McLeod position, Loris Hezemans. If I said that wrong, sorry, I never heard of you.
Hensman's.
God bless you. Starting with Jordan, give me a happy and sad on this race.
My happy, Tyler Reddick winning. I don't really have a sad this week.
Well, you're fired too. This is going to be the Chris and Jackson show starting up. You don't know. Corey, go ahead. Happy and sad for this race.
All right. My happy, I'd have to go with Tyler Reddick. And then my sad, on the other hand, I probably would have to say maybe Christopher Bell.
Why Christopher Bell?
Well, I mean, he has been running solid this year. And, of course, he hasn't been running that great, and he hasn't been capitalizing. And I did hear today or yesterday, I guess Christopher Bell's crew is being swapped with Bubba Wallace's team beginning this weekend at Atlanta. So my big question is, who do you think is going to be running better this weekend? Would be either Christopher Bell or Bubba.
That's like swapping the XFL for the USFL. Why? Neither one of them are amounting to a hill of crap. Excuse me, right now. Why? It's not like swapping Harvick's team with Custer's team or Hamlin's team with Bush's team. You're swapping crap for crap.
Yeah.
Oh, you're breaking my heart. Jackson, you got a happy and sad for this race?
I do. I have my happy is definitely Tyler Reddick, and I have something to say with this sad one, but sad is Kyle Busch, and I thought he was going to do great in this race. I really did. But what was kind of funny, and I'm going to make fun of him for it, but on Radioactive, there's like no brakes, no grip, and then someone made a meme and said no bitches at the end. So,
wow.
I thought that was kind of funny. So, sad is definitely Kyle Busch. He really sucked.
All right. Well, I think everybody's got the same happy, especially me this week. I'm going with Tyler Reddick as my happy. My sad is going to go to Austin Dillon. He actually had a pretty decent car, lost his brakes. Nothing you can do about it. Sorry, not sorry. And Justin Thomas White, you just won the day with your FKB comment.
Yes.
So even without Tori here, let's go to the points. Jordan, your choice. Worst to first or first to worst?
Because I know I'm last, worst to first.
Well, how did you know that you lost points on Corey? However, it's not as bad as you think.
Oh.
All these FKBs are coming out. I love you guys. Thank you, FKB. All right, Jordan, this was your week. Denny Hamlin got you 20 points. Brad Keselowski got you 4 points. Ross Chastain got you 33 points. And Eric Jones got you 20 for a pretty dismal week of 77. Your running total is 1,560. You are now back in fourth place. However, you're only 1 point behind Corey, and you're 289 points behind the leader. Strangely enough, you made up 6 points on the leader this week. So
nice.
Consider that a small victory. Small victories are always
It
good.
is.
Corey.
Yep.
All right.
Corey, Justin Haley got you 20 points. William Byron got you 21. Kurt Busch got you 27. And Chase Briscoe got you 33 for a weekly total of 101. Your running total is 1,561. Again, 1 point ahead of Jordan. You're behind 288 to the leader, and you picked up 1 point on the leader.
All right.
I couldn't have had a better week if you asked me. Kevin Harvick gave me 27. Joey Logano gave me 17. Tyler Reddick gave me 41. And Daniel Suarez gave me 32 for a total of 117. My running total is 1726. I am 123 back from the leader, but I made up 15 points on the leader. And of course, Tori, wherever you are, we wish you well. You picked up Chase Elliott, 38 points. Kyle Larson, 34 points. Eric Almirola got him really big, 9 points. And Cole Custer with 22 for a weekly total of 103. His running total is 1849. He is still in the lead by 123 points over second place, me. As we go into Atlanta next week, where a lot of the guys I like on my team, Harvick, Logano, Suarez, really good Speedway guys. Is this with Tyler Reddick coming off a win around the horn, starting with Jackson, with Atlanta being the race after his first win? Has that confidence bubble gotten bigger? Is Atlanta going to be a spot where he's going to do well?
I think he's gonna. It boosted his confidence. It really did. And now, if this is just me, but if I were Tyler Reddick, I kind of relax. Just relax. You still want to go out for wins. You still want to go out for good finishes. Just relax. Don't do anything stupid. Just go as it goes. You've already got a race win. You're in the playoffs. The more points you kind of earn, the higher you are in the playoff standings, which you want to be in. And in my opinion, with Homestead being, I think, at the championship 4 now, or in the last round of the playoffs, except
it's the last round.
Yeah, I think if he needs to be up there because I know he'll win Homestead. So, honestly, he just needs to relax.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Jordan, Atlanta, who do you got?
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I think who actually has a good shot of winning is Kevin Harvick.
Stole my answer, but that's fine.
I'm not even going to lie. I think Kevin Harvick can win Atlanta. I mean, he's won Atlanta before. I think he can do it again and lock himself in. Oh, wait, is he already in?
I think he's below the cutoff line right now. I'd have to check. But
you know what? If he wins, that'll be your 14th different driver. So I think Kevin Harvick can pull it off this weekend and make the playoffs. Tyler Reddick needs to just hold back into playoff time when it actually matters. He's got that win. Just relax, dude. Just relax.
15 drivers ahead of Kevin Harvick. I'm sorry, 16 drivers are ahead of Kevin Harvick. 14 of them have wins. Martin Truex is in on points if we don't get 16. Justin is right. I corrected myself. Thank you, Justin, for calling me out. So Truex and Bell in the top 16 are both in on points if we don't get a new winner. Harvick wins and he's in. He's got the points. He can do this. However, it's either going to be Atlanta or New Hampshire. These are 2 tracks that he runs ridiculously well at. I'm going to agree with you, Kevin Harvick. Which leaves Elvis in the catbird seat. Atlanta, who wins this weekend?
All right, so I actually agree with Jackson said. I think with that win that Tyler Reddick has, I think they're going to be conservative, and of course, they're going to try out some strategies before the playoffs start, coming up in September, whatever. Now, as Atlanta goes, if you guys all watched the races back in March, just remember, this isn't Atlanta Motor Speedway that we thought about last couple of years and decades and so forth. No, we're talking about Atlanta Super Speedway. Thank you, Jordan, for proving me on that one. So no, this is Atlanta Super Speedway. It basically races like Daytona. And if you guys watch the races in March, you saw guys that were drafting going down the straightaway. Everybody was getting a run going in the corner. And of course, there was a lot of blocking going on. And of course, everybody was just trying to make some deals like, when to get to the front and when to make that move. And I got to be honest, I think this weekend's going to be a lot more different and it's going to be a lot more crazier than what it was in March because let's face it, it's 7 races left before we get to the playoffs for the Cup guys. And the fact that now you're going to Atlanta in July where it's going to be like roasting like about 90 to like maybe, $112. Maybe $108, whatever it is and so forth. I think you're going to see some exciting racing, but then yet again, you're going to see some cars, slip and slide coming out of the corner and, of course, then yet again, on a warm racetrack, it's good. You're going to see some exciting racing, but I'm going to treat this weekend like it's a super speedway race. And quite honestly, if I have to pick a winner, I'd have to say I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick's teammate, Austin Dillon.
Okay, I want to real quick before I know Jordan's got some news real quick. I'm going to read you the top 10 from Atlanta this spring. And there's a lot of names we didn't mention. In fact, we didn't mention any of these names. Starting with 10th place finisher Alex Bowman. 9th place was Joey Logano. 8th place, Martin Truex Jr. 7th was Chris Buescher. Don't know how that happened. Chase Elliott was 6th. Corey LaJoie, for crying out loud, was 5th. Daniel Suarez was 4th. Kurt Busch was 3rd. Ross Chastain was 2nd. Your winner in Atlanta in the spring was Willie B., William Byron.
Yeah.
The fact that we didn't mention any of those names, and I can understand the reason, because Atlanta in the spring is a lot cooler. Like you mentioned, Corey, we're talking about a $110 inside the car. Everything changes this coming weekend, but don't count any of those names out except Corey LaJoie.
Yeah, quite honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Willie B sweeps this weekend at Atlanta. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, we're going to see a race kind of like how we see at Daytona, but then yet again, we could see a surprise winner. We could see an upset winner. You never know. But honestly, I have to say this. Atlanta pretty much is now my third favorite on my list, of races to watch since the repave.
Well, before I know Jordan's got his news, one quick note, Corey, and don't say anything after this. Just do your marching orders. Because you stole William Byron from me in the last Dragon Drop, you have to buy Terry a gimmick at the race.
Okay. So
right.
what's the gimmick I gotta buy?
I don't know. A shot glass, a coffee mug, a pencil. I don't give a shit. But she was angry because I had every plan in the world when I tell my sister, I'm going down there and I'm going to pick William Byron. And then you pick William Byron.
Yeah, and look at what Byron's been doing lately. He hasn't
yada. Jordan's got news in regard to World of Auto Racing podcast. Go ahead, my friend.
Okay, so as you know, last night I kicked off Summer of Dirt series with 3 drivers: Tony Ross, Robert Carson, and Chastity Younger. Next week, NASCAR Camping World Truck Series driver who raced at Knoxville, Iowa, Brayton Leister, will be the guest on World of Auto Racing podcast Summer of Dirt series next week. The following week will be 360 sprint car racer Stevie Rogers. She's up and coming. She's a dirt racer, and I have another guest coming on July 29th. It's a mother and son triple family. Their names are the Spearing family, so they will be on it as well. And coming, when is it? Where is her name at? So possibly coming on August 2nd is late model racer Danica Dart.
Wow, okay.
From Washington. Right. And I'm also working on the NASCAR Hall of Famer Mark Martin for the Speedway review.
The one thing that you said last week that a lot of people perked their ears up was in November/December, whenever the season's over. A lot of people are excited about Matty D.
Yep, I'm still waiting on a date. And also, most likely we're going to get the daughter of Kelly Earnhardt, Carson Elleridge. So I'll keep you guys posted on that.
Okay, good deal. Well, please pass along, Jordan, since you'll talk to him before the rest of us. Whatever Tori had going on tonight, please let him know we're thinking about him. And as we sign off, because it's already 10:04, and I'm sure Jackson is like an hour past his bedtime at this point. Close that closet. That's where the demons live, Jackson, right there.
Oh my gosh.
You know I'm gonna bust your butt because somebody, not you, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to hear from one particular special person. Heal my heart, man. Heal my heart. Come on, man. Who gave me more shit than you?
Wait, what?
Oh God, I'll message you later, you dirty jackwagon. Anyway, you guys, Another good week. Jordan said my uncle. Jordan said what? Jordan, my uncle said he will think about it. Okay. And guys, fun fact: my cousin from Chicago met Clint Boyer and went to a Canes game with Clint Boyer. Nice. Bad choice of teams, but rock and roll, man. That's pretty cool.
Oh, and before we sign off, Jackson, I'm on your side. You guys should have that flag from Taylor Gray.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. I agree
Absolutely.
100%.
Guys, if none of you know, and I hate to open a scab, Jackson here, we did the moment of silence for his dad. He was the unfortunate gentleman who lost his life in that
Yeah.
David Gilliland team truck crash. So, Jackson, tip of my hat to you, my friend. You're plugging, man. You're keeping on. I appreciate that about you.
Yep, we're not very pleased with the co-driver of the hauler right now. He is hogging the checkered flag. He says Taylor Gray gave it to him, but we found out today Taylor Gray had nothing to do with it. So, yep, it's not even his flag, by the way, either. That flag is not even at his house. It's not even in his home. So,
Yikes.
Mm.
Well, all right. Well, again, ever since that tragic accident, I know I've reached out to you. The guys have reached out to you. We all have kept you in our thoughts and our spirits, and hope your family's doing good.
thank you.
And close that closet. I'm telling you, that's where the evil stuff happens. Have you not watched Stranger Things? Jesus. Thank you. I don't want to see you get eaten by the Demogorgon.
I can't close it. I have so much stuff in there.
Maybe you should think about cleaning it, kid. All right, gentlemen, we'll do this again next week. And next week, when we record, Corey and I will be 5 days away from New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Cannot wait.
Yep, and
All
don't
right,
miss. Yep, and don't miss ARCA driver John Garrett, as he will be live with us while he's iRacing. So stay tuned,
That's
guys.
going to be interesting. That's really going to be
Mhm.
interesting.
Yep.
We'll see how it turns
He
out.
said-
Jordan, go get your weapon.
Ah.